Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue unpacking some sound-alike characters. And this one still sound jiǎn. This time, the right side, qian, this gathering, restricting this ancient collective decision-making process, was paired with stone. And if you look at traditional Chinese, not only the right side is more complicated, right? We talked about that many times. The left side is also like a totally different looking thing. And this thing was the ancient container. You can see this is a container with elements, like this little bits of elements. And this cross, I finally figured out what that cross means. It doesn't mean dead, like go dead or kill something. Like in some cases, it would be like that. Chinese have this cross symbol can mean a net, right? Can also mean interacting. So this basically means chemically active elements contained in this bottle. You don't want to have it interact with things you don't want to. That's why you have to contain it in this sealed bottle. So that was the ancient container. It's totally different from the stone imagery. And is it, I would say, okay, it naturally produced of this alkali thing on Earth. It's kind of a crusty looking, salt looking thing that got this chemical active elements that can transform other things when mixed together. Like Chinese would have this 松花蛋, we call it the 松花蛋, that the egg, when you put in alkaline, and over time, it's going to change the look, the color, the taste, the texture, the whole thing would be transformed. That's a way to preserve the eggs for a longer time. And this would be regarded coming from Earth, part of, if you want to explain it to stone, it's kind of tangibly okay. But the more accurate meaning, as you can see in the 2,000 years ago and the traditional Chinese, which about 1,500 years ago, both got this bottle, this mystery bottle in there. So that's a kind of simplification of Chinese in the 1950s, what it did to the language. It made it simple, but it kind of lose touch with the ancient version, the origin of what that means. This chemical, ancient, before chemistry industry was, chemistry as a subject matter was even invented, right? So ancient alchemy, so people recognize the potency and the active nature of that, put that in a container, in that special character, specially decorated bottle. Okay, so the right side this time, I would probably explain it, lean it more toward the meaning of gathering, because this triangle roof thing with debating voices, with this following eventually, that ancient decision-making collective after debate, if we follow, that's the rule-making process, has been meaning this restricting. Things have to follow a certain way because that's after the law was made. That's the way you go. But here on the top, this gathering is probably more appropriate to explain why this gathering makes sense here more than restricting. Well, given you do restrict this chemical to a bottle, but this element discovered in nature, mostly in this alkaline, this form of kind of a crusty surface, kind of like a frost on the surface of stones, or I don't even know, I haven't been there, but I can imagine this basically baking soda naturally produced would be more like a gathering of the elements together. It's not a scattered. It's kind of tiny little bits of crystals together. So that's the observation of this gathering. It's a natural element, defined the ancient way, gathering, and then we further gather them into a bottle. Okay, 碱 by itself, it's hardly used in today's Chinese language because when we want to express alkaline, we switch out even to this character. And this character is even more further departure. Like we switch the left side, now we switch the right side as well in simplified. And you kind of lost touch of all the ancient meanings I just explained of this gathering, of this crusty thing in nature, and we put out in the special bottle to contain it. This right side means killing a person, like one chop, and you have this salty blood. It's pretty bloody language, and Chinese use that to mean salt. And salty stone is a simplified Chinese version to illustrate what alkaline is, which was a misnomer actually. This alkaline should be sodium carbonate or something. It's totally different. I mean, it's close, it's adjacent. It's not the same chemical as what salt would be. I forgot what salt is, but it's not. It's like NaCH something. Okay, I'm not a chemical person. So it's a different thing. Even if they may look similar, like your baking soda may look similar to your salt, but it's a different thing. So this was a Chinese, for the sake of simplification, swap out too many things that's totally erased the track and misled people to think, okay, alkaline has anything to do with salty. It's probably close, but it can be confusing, right? Okay, 盐碱地 is a Chinese way to say, okay, salty. Salt is the Chinese official salt, and 碱 is alkaline. 地 means field, so that means the field, the dry land that naturally produce this salt and alkaline elements in there. That's 盐碱地. 盐碱地, we linguists, in the application, in our context, oftentimes we're not talking about the dry land like that. We're talking about a piece of land that's arid, that nothing can grow in it. Of course, like any living thing, this plants, they cannot survive next to alkaline. So we use 盐碱地 to mean a barren field, like whatever you're trying to do in this field is going to be futile, come to nothing because you got salt and alkaline in there. That's the contemporary use. And here I'm trying to visualize a baking soda kind of thing. This is 碱, how Chinese ancient times version, just a useless knowledge while I'm researching on this, that it turned out the U.S. is the major country that has the biggest baking soda naturally produced thing in Wyoming, versus in Europe, this baking soda was lab made. So that's an interesting thing about 碱. Thank you for your time. See you another day.